Okay, I thought we'd just have a little look actually, to be honest, on the Mark 4 body. Further peek into it just so I can show you the different design principles of it and where we are at the moment. Let me just hide a few things first of all. I'll start off with the main segment. So there are three main segments, which is the lower, the centre and the top body. That part of the challenge, as I've said before on the Mark IV, is that you've got every panel open. So all of these panels here all open, and back panels, everything opens really. And because of that, it means once you remove everything, what you've got is no real frame left. So part of the design process has been to inbuilt lots and lots of strength. So there's 6mm threaded rods there. They will fit the metric systems, which are slightly bigger as well. I made them a little bit, the Imperial ones, I made them a little bit larger, so they'll fit through there. So there's 4 rods. I would say that this rod's slightly short. It'll still fit a nut under there. And this is a problem with the Mark IV Complex body, really, is trying to get space. Features are similar to the simple one. We've got keying features throughout, lots and lots of different fixings, holes to make sure that it's secure. Well, the main thing is building an overall body that's quite strong. So all of these panels just push out. They're all really just supports. You can use the plastic that's left off it for mixing epoxy or 2-part resin or paint or whatever. That's what I tend to do. I tend to just have a pile of them. They're quite useful for doing things like that. But yeah, push all those out. That'll give you a basic frame. Now the way the frame is these 3 rings. The one thing that we do have is this vent panel. This sits in the middle, and it's part of the assembly. So when you built the lower frame, you then put this, just, if you look there, I'll show you. This just slides into there, slides into there. It locks in at the top, locks in at the bottom. You can glue it all together. And what you should end up with then, once you've done all of that, you've got your metal rods going through, you've got quite a solid structure. It's got dog bones throughout. There's 2 sizes of dog bones. There's a small dog bone and a large dog bone. Both of those are provided in the files, so you can put the dog bones, and then you'll see on the inside of the bread pans, we've got some holes there for some M3 bolts, which will hold it together. We don't need them at the back because the back has these pieces built in. But you've got top and bottom, you've got those. You'll also see there's some holes on the inside of the bread pans. Those are so you can do things like the screws that attach the hinges, and also these centre bars, similar to the simple body. We've got, I'll show you there. We've got printed plastic bars that go right the way through from the top to bottom that hold it all together. So once the bars are in, once the printed bars are in, the metal bars are in, everything's bolted together. It's quite strong. One thing that's new to the complex body, if I can just remove that rear one, is you'll see some holes at the bottom here. They are for M3 times 10 grub screws or set screws, and they literally glue in with 2-part epoxy. You'll see ridges on the inside of the holes as ridges on the epoxy, so it actually gives a mechanical grip as much as a glued grip, just to create a little bit more solid and better alignment on those back panels. And as you go up, you'll see there are some of these also appearing in the build, so you will need a few of those just to attach all of those together. So that, and effectively then, will make up the main frame. The way that I've designed all of the parts is to use back boxes that once you've built it to this stage, you can slide the back boxes in. So I'll show you what those back boxes kind of look like. Let me just give we'll have a look at this particular one here. There we go. Okay. So I didn't really want to commit to having the black boxes pre-printed and pre-sized in depth and all of that kind of stuff. So the way these boxes fit in is they're actually, I'll do a cross section so we can look at what it looks like from cross section. So the way it goes in is this bottom part here slips into here at 45. There's a little 45-degree angle there, so that clips into that bottom part. It then pushes in up at the top, and then this pushes that down, so that holds it down. So if you can imagine, that's pushing the bottom down as well. It's holding it solidly in place. And then all you've really got to do is there's a hole here at the very top that you can put a cable tie in, and that secures that back box in place. It means if you've ever got any needs to change those out, you can snip or cut those cable ties, remove the cable ties and get the back box out. So you can replace the back boxes, you can change them with different styles if there's designs or you want to add things. Where possible with the back boxes, I've also included, these have got inbuilt hinges. So if we just take a look at just the back box alone, you'll see this is the design of the back box. It's got the cable ties clips at the top. It's got these two pieces here and here, which are for the inbuilt hinges. And then that pretty much allows you to then start to build up, you know, kind of your doors and your mechanisms that sit around it. So let me just, where are we? Bread pans, yeah, so I'll just quickly show you this one. Yeah, so for example on this, which is the not the large bread pan door, but the smaller medium door, this is how the hinge mechanism works. You can ignore that little servo horn, but effectively you've got a hinge that opens. There's a hole there for a servo pin. It goes through this hole, and then there's a servo that mounts on the back of that box. So this servo, the way this servo works is it fits into, let's see if I can just give you a bit of a sectional analysis. There you go. So what you actually do is you push the servo into this little groove, and then there's one screw, and that holds that servo in place. The outer bracket is already screwed into there, so then you can manage the cables. You've got your servo horn, which will fit onto here, and then a part that goes through that door. So effectively, you'll have your servo horn roughly at the same angle as that is. You'll have a bar that connects the two, drops into there, goes through the servo horn on the other side, and then you've got a RC servo controlled door, all as part of the back boxes. So that's the way that back boxes work. Let me just put the other ones back. The other side, which is the bread pans, they work the same ways. So you've got these little servo brackets which slot into here. A lot easier to get in and out than some of the previous examples. They do, the design is that you push them in and slot them forward. So you can see again, they key into place and then they screw. So what you do is only one screw, push in, slot in, one screw, you've secured your servo. You've got your arm there. Your arm goes, you can put a paper clip or whatever you want to use as an actuator through the hole, which then goes into the other side through the door. So the doors are all pretty similar in mechanism. So you can see, look at it from the top on a cross section, you can see, there you go. So you got your servo horn, goes through there, attaches onto this, and then that will push the door open and close from the bottom. While I'm at it, I've improved the hinges on the door, because the challenge with the earlier hinges was that they were always a little bit finicky because you had multiple screws to get in. You've not got much thickness within the door to do that. So I was looking at different ways of being able to bolster that up a little bit. So what I've gone for is this style of design. So the hinge comes out to here. So what you do when you're ready to fit the door is you'll fit the hinge in place with this hinge in here, and then that will just clip into that little inset there. Again, slot the door in, put your screw through, and that's your door secured. So it's just one M3 screw. I think it's 5mm deep that goes through that will hold that one in. And that's going to be the same mechanism that I'll use on this one. I haven't put the hole yet in this particular box, but it'll give you that mechanism. So in theory, and if these don't work or there's tweaks and changes and modifications, it just means we're reprinting the back box, we're reprinting some of the hinges, we're reprinting the servo mounts. The body itself can then remain solid all the way through. Hinge wise, I put 2 hinges on here so you can have that as an opening door. That doesn't mean you have to have it as an opening door. If you wanted it as a sliding drawer style door, you could also put that in there, but the hinge cutouts are there if need be. Similarly, traditionally, this panel here is a door, and this has got 2 door hinges there and there, which we can see. And I think there's another door hinge which is in this panel here. So if we just have a quick look there, you'll see there's the cutouts in the back box there for that door hinge. So you've got that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you've got 2 at the back, 7, 8. All of those are door hinges. The remainder back boxes, which are all of these small panels, will be slide out drawer style panels, because putting door hinges in these tiny spaces is not really feasible, possible, and to be honest, it makes more sense that you've got little drawers that come out, or little tools depending on what you want to put behind there. So again, if you wanted to put, if you wanted to have something that, kind of opened up, the panel dropped down and a tool came out, you can just redesign the box that goes into there with a cable. On the first iteration, what I'll do is I'll probably just do hinges on all the ones that I've mentioned, and then I'll do slide boxes for the ones that need to slide out, and then you can modify that accordingly. I will do blanking plates as well, because I know not everybody wants every single panel opening, but it does mean that you've got the option, if you want to do every single panel. So that's where we are. At the back, I've also included a couple of extra magnets. So there's a magnet there and a magnet at the top. They're slightly offset because we've got the holes for the Lazy Susan that we've got to fit in at the top. So I've offset, and these have got to offset against the lower greebles. So I've offsetted them both, but it'll give a bit of extra strength on there. And there's a couple of little tabs here and here which just hold the panel straight. There is options if we need to at a later date. We can provide glue on center magnets. I don't think you'll need it, but we'll keep an eye out for all of that. On these was the standard brackets we've got for the tools. I think Tim Hebel is already designing some of these that we can drop some of the standard tools. On the actual bread boxes, I've also increased the size slightly, so we've got more room for tools. So if we look inside the bread box, it comes down at this is a standard depth that it was previously, and then what I've done is, once we've got past this top bit, which we've got to get access to the inside of the shoulder hubs, I've opened it up a little bit, so we can, if we're putting grippers and things at the bottom, or saws and stuff, we can do that. These are recessed slightly, so you've got about 3mm recess, which is on this piece here. The reason for that is if we want to then put plates over these here to cover these holes, we can do with design or whatever what you want to do on that. And similar at the back, if you want to do, we can put glue in plates so that you can change those out. Potentially we can put magnetic plates on, because you can just put the magnets on the other side if you wanted to. So there's lots of opportunities around there, trying to make it as generic as possible, but still make it functional. It uses the same greebles as the simple body, so all the greeble holes are exactly the same. I've not needed to change those. It also uses the same utility arm, and there is a animated utility arm that's already out there that we can use on that. So that's all quite useful. And as I said, these are servos for the bread pan doors, and all the servos that we need at the back are easily accessible. The change, there will be a change to the inside shoulder, so the inside frame that holds the shoulders. You'll see that the slightly different design on here. The reason for that is on the previous one I had a piece that dropped in and slid up. I haven't got any of that space left now because of these bread pans. So what this will be is it will be a part that drops in and pushes against here. So this little design here keys this side into place. You'll do the same on this side. It'll just push against there, and then there'll be a bar that drops down in the middle that pushes the two apart. That will hold them into place. And then you've got this, I think it's an 8mm rod, whatever it is. Yeah, 6mm. So then you've got a 6mm rod, 6mm bolt that will go in either side that will hold that centre bar in place, so you'll end up with a solid centre bar like you've done previously. Another challenge that we've got to solve yet is the gear motor for the top ring. I did put it in here originally, so we haven't got that space. If I put it here, it will interfere with unscrewing these so that you won't be able to switch it from 2 to 3 to 2. So the two thoughts I've got at the moment is it may sit as part of the back of this utility ring in the centre here, just behind the utility arms. It will still allow the utility arms to be able to move out on servos, but we mount it there. The alternative is we mount it actually as part of the this crossbar, but have it so that you can easily slot it in and out. That's probably my favourite at the moment, so it will sit as part of this crossbar. I might make the crossbar a little bit lower so the motor just clips on top, and then you can just clip the motor in or clip the motor out if you need to do. And it still gives you access to be able to get to the bolts at the back of here to do the 2 to 3 to 2. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. I've done most of the design work now, so I'm happy with the frame. The frame we're releasing as beta, which means I'm happy for people to test the files. I don't think I'm going to make any major changes. I can't guarantee I won't do, obviously, because it's still beta, but hopefully they seem to be okay. And then it's just really me slogging through these back boxes to get all of the hinges and things mounted, which once you've done the first one, you know, this kind of mechanism here is really neat for the door. I've got to do a similar one for the slide out drawers, work out how I make the slide out drawers work so that they slide in and out, and then it's just repeating it for a few of the back boxes. So that shouldn't take too long. Then what I've got to do is do the fixed panels for the covers for people that want to put the covers in place. So yeah, it's fairly straightforward, or it should be going forward now after this. So we're very, very close to release. But I thought it'd be useful just to show it. I will, as always, release the Fusion files so that you can modify. There's lots of modification opportunities on this. The other thing that I will do I'm going to do with both the Mark III, both the simple and the complex one, is customizational greebles. So that means that the animated versions of Astromechs have got a different utility arm. I'll do the different utility arm because we can just slot it in here. You'll see that there's various different types of vents. You can have one continuous vent, you can have vents that are more traditional, you can have different greebles that match some of the animated and some of the more customized ones. So this frame gives us a lot of opportunity for customization, and really giving all different options for, you know, different looks and feels for the Astromech. So yeah, then effectively once I've done this one, and it will be released in 250 and 500, I will be retiring the Mark II and the Mark III. The files will still be available, but I wouldn't recommend them by far. There's leaps and bounds of improvements in many aspects around the Mark IV, and there's no real advantage in the Mark II or the Mark III once the complex body's out. So that's the general direction of sale. I'm also in the works of doing all of the domes in the Mark IV style. So that's making them easier to print, reducing the stepping, all the different rules, the 10 rules that we said around the Mark IV. So improvements in how they go together. So we'll have those coming out very shortly as well. But yeah, a little bit of an insight into where we are and what we're doing.